Welcome, my brothers. You already know it is. I'm D. This the Future Fathers FF podcast. Yeah. As my brother would say, yeah. What you say, my brothers? How's your week been? Just pouring myself a quick drink. How's your week been? Mine's been alright. Work is work. Life is life. Just making sure that we're able to live it. So what have I got cooking for this week? Well, bros, after scouring the internet and living life and seeing stuff and, just being alive and having children, I want to ask you, brothers, as a parent, does your child owe you? Give you a second for that one to sink in. Heck no! Are you mad? Excuse me? No way does your children owe you anything. Not at all. Alright, so let's get this question right. If your child is famous, if your child develops skills and they become somebody of status, let's say, not just in general does your child owe you, but they don't in general, but let's just say your child becomes famous or a person of status, they've got money to spend or they own their own business or whatever. Does your child owe you because you helped them out? If your child becomes a footballer, does your child owe you because you took them to training? You bought them their boots, you bought them their kit, their bag, everything. Do they owe you? If your child, I'm only saying that because my nephew does football, so it's easy for me to pick that up. Your child becomes a gymnast, British champion, like my son. And you got to take your child to gymnastics. You got to pay for their tuition. You got to pay for their costumes and all sorts. You got to pay for them to go to different competitions. You got to pay for them to travel. All this, that, and the other. Does your child owe you? Or how about this one? Sorry about that. How about this one? If your child ends up in TV, you took them to all their auditions. You paid for all their travel. You paid for extras that they might have needed. And they end up as a noteworthy person on TV. Do they owe you? No. In my head, no, they don't owe you. I don't know whether there's people out there, I'm not going to say brothers in general or just brothers, I'm saying people. I wonder if there are parents out there that actually think, my child owes me. Your child don't owe you nothing. First and foremost, the biggest reason why your child doesn't owe you is because my brother has said it on a number of occasions. My missus said it when I asked her this question. I said it when I heard this question. Your child didn't ask to be here, Your child did not ask to be born. Your child didn't ask to exist. Your child is a consequence of your decisions. That's exactly what your child is, a consequence of your decision, So I don't see how we as parents are going to be like, nah, my child owes me for doing this and for doing that and for taking them here, for bringing them there, for buying them. Really? You would say that your child owes you for that? Your child don't owe you. As a parent, that's your duty. You're supposed to do that. So it's not, my child's supposed to give me X amount of this, that, and the other. My child's supposed to do X, Y, and Z. No, they're not. They're actually not. What your child is supposed to do is exist and live. You, as the parent, are supposed to make sure they've got what is necessary, what they need. And when they're able to look after themselves, then they take that on for themselves. You know, when they have children, then they're responsible for their own children. Or, yeah, when they have their own children. Sounded a bit weird in my head, actually. Yeah, when they have their own children, then they're responsible. You know, then they'll be asking themselves the same questions that we pose to each other, or should I say the questions that I pose to you, the statements I pose, and all of this. They're going to be thinking the same thing. That's why we're doing this, my brothers. Future fathers, like, keep it. It's all in the title. Keep it in your head. FF, Future Fathers FF. Foundation first. If you didn't know, that's what the FF stands for. Foundation first. I want everyone to know that, because it is the foundation that you're setting to help your children become famous, people of noteworthy, or people of status. So, you know, how, as a parent, in my position, no, I'm gonna say a hard no on that one. No, my children do not owe me anything, nothing at all. And you know what's even better about this whole thing? I came in and, as I said, I posed the question to my missus, and she said, "No, your children don't owe you nothing. They didn't ask to be here." As I asked her, you know, that if your children become famous, do you owe them, or do they owe you? Lo and behold, our youngest passed his functional skills exam, or should I say he got a letter to say that he passed his functional skills exam. Me and Mum have supported him, helped him, bought him everything that he needed. So because we supported him, and because we helped him through, you know, like hard times of studying and making sure that he's doing what is necessary to put himself on a decent path, what are we supposed to now turn around and say, "Oh yeah, you owe us for that"? Because you know, not, I don't want to say it's not success. It's success in the right sense that he has succeeded at something he has tried to do. How then are me and Mum supposed to be owed for that? Mum gave birth to him. I've helped guide him. How does he owe us for that? In my head, I'm his dad. My missus is his mum. Like, this is what we're supposed to do. I don't know if it's just me and I'm the only one that thinks like this, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. I'm pretty sure there's quite a few of you out there that's going to be saying exactly the same thing. No, my child don't owe me. But then on the flip side, I can trust in the sense that there's going to be people that say, yeah, my child does owe me. There may not be very many people that say that, but if there is one, there has to be the other. Just like good and bad, up and down, left and right, in and up, you know, all of these. If there is one, there has to be another. So I'm not going to naively say, oh, you know what, no one's going to say that. Yes, there will be. There will be some people that say that. There will be some parents that say, no, I believe my child owes me because I've done blah, blah, blah. But your child didn't ask to be here. You didn't get a memo one day and, you know, or post-it note stuck on the fridge saying, can you please give birth to me? Or like, you know, them kind of things don't happen. If they do happen to you, then I want to know what's going on. Yeah, I want to know where you're getting your instructions from, because I don't get them things there. On the other hand, there will be people like me that are like, no, my child doesn't owe me for anything. I've done the best that I could. Well, I've done what I could do. I won't say the best. I've done what I can do. I'm generalizing. I've done what I can do for my child. Now they're free to go and do what they want with their life and go forward as they see fit. Why do they owe you? Why is that even a question? Because this is another thing that I thought after I heard it and, you know, I was able to process, I had a little time to think about the question. This is why I'm asking you guys, because I was like, not only is it I wouldn't say an unfair question. It's quite a silly question. How are you gonna, like, why would your child owe you? You know, it's not even money. Like when your children get big, like mine, and they, oh dad, can you lend me blah blah blah? Yeah, okay. Alright. Yeah, done. In that situation, my child doesn't owe me the money. My child doesn't owe me the money because he borrowed the money from me. You know, it's a loan, you pay it back. You're supposed to. That's how I teach you, you know. It's not about owing somebody something. You're supposed to pay back what you've paid them or what you borrowed. You don't owe me that money. It's a payment. You're supposed to pay that money. You know, if you borrows one of my comic books, you know, just bring it back. You don't owe me a comic book. I'd be upset if anything happened to it, but you don't owe me one back. It would be nice if you could replace it. You don't owe me nothing back. If I have, as we have done, if we pay for tuition for something, and you know, you go quite far in said thing. Said activity. If you get quite far in that, why do you owe me something because you've now gotten to a certain state or certain level? You don't owe me. And if I'm the kind of person that is going to, if I'm the kind of person or parent that is going to believe that my child owes me for something that is my duty to do, let me rephrase that, because it's not necessarily my duty to make sure that they can do these things. It's a choice that I make to give them fulfillment in life. I give them more experiences. You don't owe me for an experience, bro. My brother, my brothers, your children don't owe you for life. They don't owe you for experiences. They don't owe you for intelligence or knowledge. They don't owe you for advice. That advice is supposed to be free. That knowledge that you're supposed to be giving them is supposed to be given willingly. As a parent, you're supposed to look at your child and be like, I want to give you everything. No, I'm going to give you this, and maybe in 30, 40 years, maybe you can pay me back. Who's thinking like that? Whose brain runs like that? Because I'd like to know who these people are. Because as I said, those people have to exist. Whether you know them, whether you see them, they have to exist. Because there's people that exist that don't think that's right. Now, I'm a big dude. I'm a big man, not a big dude. I'm a big guy. So I understand that, you know, your parents are supposed to do things for you. I'm old enough to understand that, right, my mum did certain things for me. And now I repay her by being a good person, so to speak. I repay my mum by helping her when she needs assistance with things. I don't owe my mum because she taught me lessons. I don't owe my mum because she gave birth to me. I don't owe my mum because she filled my brain with knowledge. I don't owe her for that. Well, actually, do you know what? As the child, you probably feel like you owe your parents something. But as a parent, you shouldn't feel like your child owes you for anything. Thinking about it like that, I can honestly say, yeah, from a child's perspective, the child probably feels like, oh yeah, do you know, I owe my mum, or I owe my dad, or I owe my parents something. From a child's perspective, I can fully see why some people would say, no, the child does owe. No, the child doesn't owe you as a parent. From the parent's perspective, I'm going to say from my perspective, being a parent, no, my child doesn't owe me anything. But from a child's perspective, looking up at my mum now, I would say, yeah, do you know what? I owe my mum in the sense that I have respect for people, and how I show respect. No, how am I gonna put this? Because that's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah, I show my mum how much I owe her by paying respect to other people in the way that she raised me, by, you know, using the intelligence that she helped cultivate within me, by being a humble person as she taught me. That's how I repay my mum. Yeah, in me saying, oh yeah, I owe my mum, that is how I repay her. By being the man that I am today. By being the father that I am to my children. That's how I repay my mum. By trying to be a functioning member of society. A functioning human being in society is how I repay my mum. That's how I see it. Some people may see it similar, the same, some people may not. But that's just for me. As I always say, I can only give you perspective. I can only give you a look at life from my perspective. However you see things, my brothers, that's how you see them. What may work for one may not work for somebody else. But that being said, you can at least try. There's nothing stopping us from all trying somebody else's things. You know, you can try that suit on, and if you feel like it, yeah, my child owes me. You can try that on. I'm not subscribing to that. I'm not buying that suit. I ain't fitted for them tailor-made clothes there. Yeah, because that is tailor-made. You have to be that kind of person that says, my child, yes, they do owe me. I made sure that they went to such and such school. I made sure they went to university. I made sure that they had everything they need. So when the time comes, they have to repay me. Bruh. I'd love to sit down with another parent that actually thinks like that, just to ask them a few questions, just to pick their brain. How does your child owe you? What is it that you did for your child that makes you feel that your child owes you for these things? You know, like what kind of negotiation did you go into with your child that your child owes you anything? I don't get it. And this is the thing, when I heard the question, I couldn't comprehend it straight away. I was like, that doesn't, what do you mean does your child owe you? And as I said, it's a generalization, but if we're gonna go to the end of the spectrum and say, all right, you know what, just famous. As I said, famous or a person of stature or a person that is noteworthy, yeah? If your child becomes one of those three things, how on earth can you as a parent turn around and say, my child owes me now because of where they are in life? Who are you? Yeah, you might be their parent, but in the grander scheme of things, who are you to be telling anybody that they owe you something? I thought one of the boys was outside the work, open the door. Breeze is blowing. Yeah, your child don't owe you nothing. Come on. I know as a parent how hard it is to struggle trying to find the money to make sure that you can actually continuously pay for tuition, that you can pay for activities, that you can buy uniform, you can buy accessories. It's not easy. I know this firsthand. I tell you, brothers, it's anything that I'm talking to you about, I'm pulling from my own experiences. So when you're trying to keep your children in extracurricular activities to make sure, you know, that they've got a hobby, or they're just out of trouble, or, you know, they're developing their brains or a skill in something, these things cost money. These things are also the things that could push them to being one of the three people that I suggested in the first place. All of these things take money. And if any parent out there thinks, oh yeah, it's just going to be easy, I can just do blah, blah, blah. You're going to find extremely quickly that it doesn't run like that. And even if it does, there's going to be quite a few hurdles that you have to cross. Or jump over, should I say, and some rivers to cross. You'll get wet and you'll get mash up. But if you can come out the other side, and it's good, I'm talking about the child and the parent, then it's all well and good. Your child is doing well, you're doing well. And the funniest thing is, the actual biggest thing is, most of the parents, I think, most of the parents that would actually say, my child owes me, are the kind of parents that would push and kind of enforce if their child is actually doing an extracurricular activity, i.e. martial arts, boxing, football, ballet, gymnastics, art, any one of these things that can actually excel and that can push them to excel in something and become somebody of status. Those are the kind of parents that will be like, yeah, my child owes me. I made sure that they did blah, blah, blah. I made sure that they was at so-and-so on time. So yeah, they owe me. They owe me big. I've seen pushy parents at different auditions with my children, so I know what they look like. I know what they sound like. Yeah, I know how they act. Those are the kind of parents that I have wholeheartedly trust in, that they would say, yeah, baby owe me. Some of them wouldn't. Some of them definitely would. But this is just human beings, isn't it? Just humans, that's all. And for all of us to actually be like, okay, so we don't do, or should I say, for all of us to be saying that our children don't owe us, we'd all have to be different parents. Or there'd have to be a blueprint that every parent follows from today forward in time for every human being that is a parent or that becomes a parent to actually say to themselves, my child doesn't owe me. My children, both of my boys, have been through different extra activities that have cost quite a lot of money. The wickedest thing is, I'm not even going to say I've got money like that, because I really don't. We do not have money like that, but we always tried to make sure that the boys had something extra to do, because I know what it's like growing up out on the road with your brethren. If there's nothing to do, I know exactly what that's like. I've seen what happens to people when they end up outside all the time, continuously. I'm extremely glad and grateful to the Most High, yeah, that He saw fit to bless me with children at the age that He did. Because I can see that without my children and without my missus being in my life in the time that they were, I probably wouldn't be in the position that I am in today. I probably would not be standing here, because I am standing, I'm not sitting today. I probably wouldn't be standing here recording an episode of Future Fathers podcast, because I'd be a different dad. I probably wouldn't. I'd probably be the same kind of dad. But I know there'd be something that would be different. There's something that would be different, because I may not have been with the same partner, or my children may have grown up in a different area, or because I had a little bit more time, to grow. There's so many different factors, so many. But ultimately, me being a parent, looking after my children and growing them, and making sure they've got what they need and what they would like. Bro, I'd never turn around and tell my children, you owe me for this. Do you know how hard I had to work to make sure you had this? Do you know how hard me and your mum had to work to make sure you could go to dance? That you could get to your audition? Bearing in mind, man's not driving, There's bare travel money that we got to be shelling out as well. Every time they're going anywhere, And man's not just paying for them. I got to be paying for myself as well. Mum's got to be doing exactly the same thing. And then when the two of them is doing things together, and we're all it's 4 people we've got to be paying for. Best believe any kind of festival that the boys performed at or anything, me and Mum was always there. Best believe if they had an audition to go to, either myself or Mum was there. Because we understood the more that we're in our children's lives, the more beneficial it's going to be for them. It can only be beneficial for the boys. So for us, it was an easy choice in saying, yeah, do you know what, we're going to do this to make sure that the boys stay out of trouble, because we both know exactly what it's like when you got friends that get into trouble and they get into a whole heap of difficulty. We both know what that's like. So trying to keep them out of trouble was the best thing that we could do. No way on the face of this planet would I then turn around and say, due to all of the stuff that I have done as a parent for my children that didn't ask to be here, I couldn't turn around and be like, yeah, of course they owe me. I'm not that kind of person. I didn't raise my children to be those kind of people. So no, my brothers, no, my children do not owe me. If you ask me, your children don't owe you either. If anybody asks me, or anybody asks you, or if you want to ask somebody, my brother, please, I beg you, ask them. Ask everybody that you know, and just see the answers that you get. Let me know in the comment section if you come across anybody that says, yeah, my children owe me. And remember, I said, it's not about owing money or nothing like that. It's time, knowledge, and experience. That's what you're giving your children. How can they owe you for that? I don't dare. My children don't owe me, but I may owe my mum. As I said, from a child's perspective, a child may see it as, yeah, do you know what? I owe my parents. Of course I do. From my perspective, as a parent, my children don't owe me nothing. Not a thing. And for me to turn around and say, yeah, do you know, they probably could. No, I'd be going against my own nature. And I've learned not to do that. Going against your own nature is not a great thing. Going against how you feel, what you think, how you was raised, all of the little nuanced things in life that a lot of us take for granted, yeah? All of those things, a lot of them, I won't say all of them, they're all contributing factors. All of them are contributing factors. They contribute into how we think, what we say, what we do, what we eat, everything. But how did those things turn people into believing that their children owe them something? Your circumstance is your circumstance. If you brought a child into that circumstance, it's not the child's fault. It's not the child's responsibility to change anything. As the parent, that's your job. That's your responsibility. As parents, it is our responsibility to make sure our children are catered for. If that means that we have to make sure that they're doing extra stuff, then do that. But don't expect any kind of repayment. The only repayment that your child should be giving you is the same thing that you give them. Love, time, knowledge, attention, all of these things. They just come back. None of us have children expecting, to get something back in return. No. And if you do, then I don't know. I can't wrong you because, certain people got their own, everyone's got their own thing or their own things, their own vices, their own ups and downs. So I can't stand there and say, oh yeah, do you know what? You can't do it. You shouldn't be doing it. There's no, I can advise and say, I can say I don't necessarily feel that might be the right thing. It might not be 100%, but who am I to say anything against anybody else? I'm nobody. All I can do is the one thing I do day in and day out. Advise as best I can, give knowledge based on my own experiences, and trying my hardest not to get in my own way when given information or anything. So this is why I say to you, brothers, let me know in the comments what you think about things, because I might be wrong on something. I could be wrong right now. There could be a whole heap of people out there saying, no, my children do owe me. My children do owe me. I could be one of the few people that's like, no, my children don't owe me. And now I look like some Wally saying all of this, and everyone else out there's like, oh, what's wrong with D? Like, that's not what you're supposed to do. But my brothers, that's just me. And you know this by now. Pretty sure of it. So I don't know how you're going to take it, what you're going to take from today, or if you're even going to take anything. The only thing I'd like you to take away from today is the question. Have the debate with somebody you know. Pose the question to somebody else. If you know people with children, if you know other parents, if you've got brothers and sisters that's got children, ask them just to see what they say. Ask them just to see how they feel. Ask your partner, your missus or your husband. It's entirely up to you what you do with the info. But bros, that's exactly what it is for me today. I just wanted to know what you guys thought. I give you my insight on it. No, your children don't owe you for becoming famous. If you help them, your children don't owe you anything in general. My brothers, you know where it is already. Future_fathersFF. Or should I say at Future_fathersFF on Instagram. YouTube.com/Future_fathersFF. Those are the socials. My brothers, I'm D. This is the Future Fathers FF podcast. I beg you, stay blessed.